welcome back to another video. I think today we'll kind of go over the engine bay. I've already done a video of like the car and what's done to it, all that. But I figured, hey, listen, we could take a deep dive into the engine bay. A lot of the things that I did to this car were done before I started this channel, so whether it be an install or things added or whatever, obviously they weren't recorded. But when I got this car, it was a clean example, but it didn't look anything like it does today. So I figured, like I said, we could jump into the engine bay. I'll have to I didn't record back in the day either when I first got this. So, obviously I don't have like in-depth videos of what it looked like other than pictures, but I can put up some pictures and then we can kind of compare. And then also, again, like I said, it wasn't really a deep dive into uh, everything on this car. I want to do the full, like, this is my cam Cobra. So I figured if I do like one area at a time, it's a little bit easier to try to like explain to you guys what was done, my thoughts on that, how I like certain things or didn't like certain things, all that. So without further ado, let's get into it. I was thinking with this video, I would, again, show you guys the engine bay. We'll kind of do a deep dive onto each little thing and really get into like the little details, the things that a lot of people maybe don't always appreciate right up front or don't even notice. But the little things is what I notice. Obviously the big picture is great, that you're looking at right now. Looks good. But it's the little details that almost always get you there, right? So we're going to go ahead and jump into all that. But I just want to also say this is in no way a dig at the previous owner or anything like that. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own way of doing things. I just am a certain way about certain things. And I like a clean, like just OEM plus look. That's what I'm going for. I think that's what I've achieved. Is this car finished? No. Is this car perfect? No. But I will do everything I can with the money that I have to try to make this car as perfect as I can ever get it, right? And I think that's a lot of people's goals out there. Obviously, there's some people that just have unlimited funds that can build something, insanely crazy. And then there's guys like us that, we work a 9 to 5 and we have families and things like that, and we dump our money into our cars as well. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. But anyways, I just want to kind of preface that before we jump straight into that. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get up close and personal. All right, let's get into it. So we'll start off, I think, with the obvious ones here. We've got the Harpel radiator cover, the 2-in-1 tank. We've got the power steering reservoir, the brake master cylinder cover and the cap. And then we have the fuse box cover. If any of those items are something that like you guys are on the fence about because of the price point or whatever the case may be, I'm here to tell you that they're worth every dollar. Obviously, it gives you this very clean look, but at the same time, they're just such a good product. The workmanship, all that is spectacular. There's not enough good words out there for me to say like that, and again, I've said this in other videos, but I'm not sponsored by him in any way, but when you see good, you say good, Also up front here, I did the big snake. I think some call this the GT500 snake, but I don't know. I just think this looks so much better than the small snake because it just stands out better. I think the other one kind of gets lost. Like I had the small one for a long time, but recently made the switch to that. And then when I say the small details, I'm talking like I've gone in and changed the bolts to match. So like, JLT doesn't come with those bolts. Again, this MAF doesn't come with those bolts, but like the Harpel tank does. I've got the valve cover kit there, like the the blower is in there with those Allen hex head bolts, like um, the throttle body is, and then even I've gone and changed like the ones on the IAC, just here in the bracket, like all the bolts match. Metco uses those. Excuse my dirty idlers right now. But even like the Harpel stuff here is in those with those bolts. And again, I'm here with this car. My vision is to do OEM plus. So to a certain degree, I'm not going to change bolts out, right? So like these here, the grounds, I'm not going to change those. I just, I could and it would look clean. Don't get me wrong. But to keep that OEM plus look, I feel like that's the right move. I have changed those out with brand new, the green, those green coated bolts there. Those are brand new. Those are not like from the factory. Even down to these. My car's so dusty with the pollen. Ugh. But now I just made it all smeared. But anyways, I'll show you on this side. It's a little better looking at the moment. But like, so the radiator brackets are powder coated, and these are things that I see when I look at like cars at shows. And again, it's no bad talk on anybody, but it's just things that make me realize certain things that I either want to change about my own or whatever. But sometimes I see people with like the bone stock brackets there, let's say, and maybe they've had stuff done to their car over the years or whatever happens, but those get all scratched up and they don't look good, right? So to me, it's little things like that I like to refresh, to look good. Kind of hard to see it. And I don't know if I went over this in another video or not, but like I've done even just this bracket here. I've had that powder coated just because, and then even down in here, I had that bracket powder coated, all new bolts. I just think that gives it that look, right? I've even gone as far as to like put these caps on here like this. Some of these are tighter than others, but it's nothing crazy, but it just gives it that look. It's clean. One thing that I am working on, I'm trying to figure out exactly how to execute it without pulling the blower itself, because I don't know that's exactly necessary at this very moment, but is swapping these bolts out, because I would like these to be, like a stainless steel bolt. And that would, again, kind of just to go with this theme, right? The crossover tube has also been repowder coated. Like I said, just like these brackets, right? And then of course I've had the valve covers powder coated, and the this is a Team Blue Wolf cap, and then I'm trying to do like a little pan over here and make sure I'm not missing anything. But obviously I have the Metco pulleys, love them. I even have the lower from Metco. When I brought the car in to do cams, the shop was having a hard time getting the like stock cage one off, so I think they ended up having to cut it off, and then why go back with the OEM on that when you can upgrade? So we ended up doing that, and I'm not mad about that in any shape or form. But I also have the JLT catch can, which I've kind of done a custom route on this one, because this is the can that essentially gets mounted over here with the way that their system works. Which, funny enough, at Ponies and the Smokies, Ryan and I were looking at my car, and he was just kind of checking it out and this and that, and we were talking about this, and I couldn't remember for the life of me why I did that. Like, I put this little sleeve on here, but now sitting here talking about this, I remember. this is the can that mounts over here, and the way that it mounts is literally like right between this and the pulley, and it's just way too close for everything. I had to like push this out of the way, which was causing it to have issues down low. And anyways, so I ended up I had both catch cans too, but this one that goes to the intake, I had it on there for months and it never caught anything. So I think I was pretty good on that side of things. And I think most are, but either way. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I don't love the look of this, but it gets me away from this whole deal, right? So I mounted it on this side. I went and I bought new lines, and then I routed it all behind the blower. It's hidden. You can't see it. You can see there it goes to the PCV valve. Sorry, my finger's all over the place. Um, and then it goes back into the line to the blower there, behind the blower. And but anyways, so it's just things like that. Like I've kind of had to innovate certain things because of way other things fit, right? Um, I would say another thing that I would want to change here soon would be this LFP head cooling mod. The product itself is not bad, and that was on the car when I got the car, so that is what it is. But I'm not a fan of these clamps. And to be fair, I'm not a fan of these OEM clamps either, but they're OEM, so again, OEM plus, trying to. I thought about doing the Cobra Engineering setup on this, but I do feel like if I do that, it might take away from that OEM plus look. I don't know. Because you get to a certain point and nothing is still OEM, then what's the OEM plus, right? And I don't ever really want this car to be like a full custom, like I'll never relocate the battery. I'll never relocate the fuse box. I like the look. I like the OEM-ish look to it, right? So anyways, I'm rambling on that one, but we have the JLT intake and then the SCT big air MAF on here. Some of these I've touched in the other videos, but again, this is just kind of more of an up close, longer look and a little bit of a explanation on certain things. So, I did go ahead and do these recoil terminals. I do need to fix this. It's just kind of the way this wire was too short, and I don't know. I've seen it in other people's videos too that it kind of looks like that, but I don't know. I don't love that. But this was the KMJ kit, and again, it's a great kit. There's nothing to be said, with that. But I do think like the way that I routed it again is why that's short. But trying to go around here. But again, to the details of things, I've wrapped wires. So like the 3-wire kit, you can see down in here. There's the positive terminal there. Trying to see if I can get a better angle on it. But I went through and I put the wire sheathing on those and like made them really clean. Same with the ground here. You can kind of see it. Like I said, for me, it's about the little details, and I feel like that's what makes a clean car really clean. So, like for instance, I'm not calling anybody out. I don't know whose car it was, but there was a car in Ponies in the Smokies that had BC coils, and they were missing this plate. So they just had these nuts on the tower itself, and it just takes away from the cleanliness, right? So, like I said, it's little things like that. But some things that I'm looking to get would be, if anybody out there knows of one for me, is the MGW dipstick handle, or even an oil cap. Those are like one of the two big things that I've been really trying to find. That's a lot harder than it should be. I think the valve cover coil covers are, I believe it's Billet Specialties. I hopefully I'm not wrong on that, but I believe that's who made these. And same with this crossover cap, that was Billet Specialties as well. And then even like this, right? My old, or the original one for this, the cap, like the yellow was not exactly still there and all that. So I went and I bought a new one. I feel like that's a cheap thing, but it looks good, right? Even this Motorcraft battery. When I got the car, it had like a Walmart battery, whatever the names of those are. I don't remember, and I don't think I have the batteries sitting here to tell you. But regardless of that, again, it's OEM plus type thing, right? So I have a red top Optima that I had in this car, and that car was down for a little bit, so I had taken it out, swapped it out, put the other battery in that car, because this one is also, excuse the box I'm engine bay, but relocated to the trunk. So for me, it was like, well, you don't really see it in this car right now. And again, this car was down, so I was like, I'm going to swap the battery. I put the the red top, sorry, in this, and I ran that for a little while. But, as you can see, even that little bit of red there, it's a little bit of a clash, right? But that's like an OEM sticker that I'm not going to take it off. It just looks, I like the look of it. Whether it's red or yellow or whatever, and it clashes a little bit, I'll take it. But anyway, so I switched back to the Motorcraft because I just didn't like the look of the Optima. The Optima didn't fit properly either. There was just a couple little things I didn't like about it. But even with this, like the level of cleanliness that I'm trying to achieve, this sticker was like getting kind of weird looking. As you can see, like it turned yellow and whatever. And then, I mean, it was like not even on the car that long, and that was happening. And even the sticker was kind of like peeling. And I know that I'm crazy, but I PPF'd the sticker so that it would just stay nice. Another thing that I've seen in some videos is people will always are kind of like hating on this yellow from the hood latch. Some people have said, "Oh, just cut the yellow off, and it's just metal, and it looks better. It's cleaner look, whatever." Nah. Like I said, I'm into the OEM Plus. It came from the factory with this yellow. I like that. I don't think that looks that bad for an OEM aesthetic, right? If that was black from the factory and I made it yellow, I can understand. But that's how it came. That's how all these Cobras are, unless you alter it. I like the way that looks. And I don't know if I did a deep dive on these, but MRT hood struts. I love these because, one, they're paint matched. The brackets on the hood, which, again, this is another little thing. Not all cars are perfect, right? But even in my car, I'm trying to find a spot, but there's spots in the engine bay that, again, over years, this car's 20-something years old, that, get scratched or whatever. I'm really big on just put some touch-up paint on it. I want to clean it up. So as I'm sitting over here, I just noticed this. I don't know if any of you noticed it before I just pointed out, but like right here, this must be rubbing something. I don't know. It's not rubbing the bracket. But either way, that's something that, like, I would hit with some touch-up paint. Let's make it clean, right? But anyways, MRT hood struts, and I love these, again, like I said, because they're paint matched. The hood bracket, they're paint matched in the fender, and they utilize a fender bolt, so you don't have to, like some of these other kits, you have to like drill them into this. I don't want to do that. So that's that. I do have a video out there of these JC Custom hood vents, but obviously those are here as well. And then I think another one is that this hood is painted underneath. Is that OEM? No, but it just gives it that cleaner look, right? So that's part where I guess where the OEM Plus comes in. One other thing too, if anybody knows of someone who can either recreate this sticker or knows somewhere that I can get it, hit me up. Tell me in the comments, DM me, whatever it takes, because I need one. I guess when this car was painted, when the hood was painted underneath, I don't know, but it's got some paint on it, and I hate that. And it's kind of peeling as well on like the corner, and I've tried to like put some adhesive to kind of keep it down. It just does it. So, anyways, I'd love to be able to take that off, put a new one on. So, if anybody knows, but I just cannot find one out there. All right, y'all. This is where we're gonna end the video. Hope y'all enjoyed the deep dive into the Cobra engine bay. I think if you guys enjoyed this, I may continue the series on and do like a deep dive into different areas of the car to kind of create some content and give you guys a deeper dive into the mind of what I got going on here, right? So let me know down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, and baby, let's rock this thing. Let's go.